margin.
Wow.
Normally GPA differentials are very, very small because you're only on a scale of 4. The difference between me and the second highest was 0.4 GPA points.
Wow.
And that's because that style suited me. I was always interested in knowledge, but never interested in grades.
In the grades. So would you say that IBA was your true calling? Because for a lot of young people who look up to you as an inspirational figure, I find it hard to decide. They may be good at a number of things, but how do you decide what you want to pursue as your career?
So there was zero thought which went behind my decision, I can assure you of that. It was essentially the two brothers who were immediately older to me. They both entered IBA and got themselves MBA degrees. And therefore it just seemed the natural thing to do, and that's where I applied. But no, there was not a lot of strategic thinking which had gone behind it.
No strategic thinking, but as a CEO, I'm sure it has a lot to do with strategy, or do you rely more on your intuition?
The two are not inconsistent with each other.
Really?
Obviously, you cannot operate without strategy, but good strategy. Well, maybe you can do good strategy with just your mind. Great strategy always combines a lot of hard work, a lot of detail orientation with the ultimate gut instinct that you have. And you can feel it when something exceptional is with you, you can feel it in you. It's not the numbers, it's not the detailed strategies.
But the gut feeling that you speak about does not really make you failure proof. So there are times when your plans don't go as you would have envisioned them to. What do you do then?
You learn from the failures. You learn from the failures. You will fail. If you never fail in life, that means you'll achieve much less than what you could have achieved. That means you're just timid. That means you're not willing to reach out.
You haven't taken a risk in your life.
Yeah. So you will fail, and the idea is to learn from your failure.
And what would you regard as the biggest failure so far in your life?
In my corporate career? Or in my life? In my life, the biggest failure was not being able to make the test team for Pakistan cricket.
You love cricket that much?
I loved cricket at that time. I still love it today.
Is that the reason why you have joined Pakistan TEHRIK INSAAF?
No, that's not the reason I joined TEHRIK INSAAF.
A lot of people are going to make that connection now that you've said it.
But that's not the reason I joined TEHRIK INSAAF, but I love cricket. I love cricket and I still love cricket.
What did you think of the recent India-Pakistan series?
Fantastic. I think the boys have been playing exceptionally well for the last 2 to 3 years now. And they've had exceptional performances, and frankly, I don't think they've got the credit that they deserve. The only team in the world in the last 4 T20 World Cups to reach the semi-final every single time, won it once, reached the final a second time, reached the semi-final of the World Cup recently, did exceptionally well.
And yet have no international team come to
No international teams coming, security issues here, economy going to dog, all of those problems. It is just amazing. They beat the #1 rated test team in the world 3-0. They've just beaten the world champions in one-day cricket on their home ground. They had a fantastic performance against South Africa and on Australia. So the team has been playing consistently well.
You know, you're so good at this. Why do you not do this for a living? I mean, why not actually comment on cricket, on the sports channels?
I would love to do that. That's one of my post-retirement ambitions, that I'll go and watch cricket all over the world. And if I can do commentary and therefore get a free ticket, why not?
Coming to the very controversial decision that had actually surprised everyone in the corporate circles was when you decided to resign from your role as a CEO at the age of 50. Did you always plan it to be that way, or did it come as a surprise?
The retirement at 50? The retirement at 50, when the announcement went up, somebody wrote an email to me from Canada, who used to be a colleague of mine, a junior colleague of mine, in the Anglo Polymer days. And said, "Sir, this is what you used to say to us during the lunch sessions that we had, that you'll retire at 50. So retiring from the corporate world, and I had informed my board of directors, we do succession planning, detailed succession planning in Anglo, and in the succession planning sessions, even 2-3 years back, I told them, I'm not going to stay till the end. So that was very clear. But as I said, my post-retirement ambition was to watch a lot of cricket. Do something in education, maybe, but definitely watch a lot of cricket. So politics was not supposed to be a part of my post-retirement plans.
Okay, a little more about the retirement plan. A lot of people have been critical about this decision too. Now, looking at how the company has performed, and since most of your team actually left after you retired from the team, was it an exit plan for a glorious CEO who could see that the next inning is not going to be that smooth?
The next inning, anybody who wants to take me on this, take a bet with me about the next 5 years of Engro, and I'll come back in Engro and I'll show you what the next 5 years can do. If you look at the whole debate which is going on in the country is being exacerbated because of my joining politics. So obviously it becomes partisan. The initial murmuring on this that came from a political camp. I know where the research was being done. So a lot of it was politics. But just the bare facts, if you look at them very, very simply, okay? I became CEO of the company in 2004. Earnings were about $1.5 billion. Revenue was, I think, 13 or 14 billion. I think 13 billion was the revenue in the year 2004.
Yes.
7 years later, 2011, we had 117 billion revenue with 8.5 billion rupees of earnings, okay, after-tax earnings. We had created 5 new businesses. We had the most successful IPP done in Pakistan in the last generation. We had the market leader in liquid milk. We had the dominant share in chemical terminalling, blah, blah, blah. All of that was happening, right? There's this whole talk about debt burden, right? All the debt had already been acquired by the time we got to 2011. All the projects were now functional. With that,
you'd actually gone past that 4 years of not making money with Engro Foods as well. That was also
Foods, everything, right? So by the time 2011 arrives, the entire debt is already taken. In that year, we had, as I said, 8.5 billion rupees of after-tax earnings. We did all our debt servicing. We retired 6 billion rupees of net debt. Okay. In 2010, after I left, the day my announcement was made, Engro was getting gas. Since my retirement, they have been really punitively dealt with by the government. Egregious violation of contracts. And they have got about 7 days of gas in the last 8 months. Okay. So that's the reason why the fertilizer business is suffering. It's got nothing to do with the debt load. The non-fertilizer business this year, the earnings are not announced, but the 9-month earnings were announced. So I can tell you almost exactly, it will be about 3.5 billion rupees of after-tax net earnings for all the not...
We're talking big numbers here. This is only getting spicier, but we still want to know the story behind the 2012 retirement. Were you taking the Mayans too seriously, or what was it all about? We'll find out in just a bit, right after this short break. And welcome back after the break. You're watching Spotlight with me, Sidra Iqbal, and I'm still in conversation with Mr. ASAD UMAR. And here we are chatting about all the things that inspire him and actually makes him more committed to his dreams. We were talking about the political life not being very different and the change not being as dramatic. What would you call a dramatic change?
As I said, how do I spend my day? In the last 8 months, if I look at it, what have I done? I've worked on policy development in the overall macroeconomic policy, skill development, industry, trade policy, youth policy. So there's this whole policy development work which is really bread and butter.
It's like second nature to you.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah. The marketing team works with me, so branding, communication, and all of that work. The youth and ISAF teams, ISAF is the INSAAF Student Federation, they work with me. Again, my connect with youth has always been strong. That's people who inspire me generally would tend to be below the age of 13 in Pakistan. They are the ones who have not yet become jaded, skeptical. They've got energy. They're optimistic about the future. So I love spending time with them.
And what keeps them from being jaded is the key question. And I think one thing that goes hand in hand with being an achiever is having a great team, of colleagues, of friends who can continue to inspire you and actually push you whenever you're at a whole block, right? Absolutely. So what really keeps people from becoming jaded is to have a good set of friends behind you who always have your back and who are going to be there to inspire you when you hit a roadblock. And we definitely have someone like that right here in the studio with you. He's one of Mr. ASAD UMAR's closest colleagues and a friend for many decades. And we'll find out from him what his life has been all about and how deeply connected he is to his dreams and what makes him the achiever that he is. Let's welcome Mr. Khalid Mansoor. Assalamu alaikum. Please take a seat. So we planned a little surprise for you.
All the way from Algeria.
Aisab, thank you so much for joining us, and this is a surprise we planned for you. And you've been together for a long, long while. You guys have worked together, studied together. How long does it date back, this friendship?
More than a quarter of a century.
Quarter of a century. And you've